Hello everyone, we are Team 10 and as part of the course ISD 528, we are presenting to you our analysis and redesign of an office chair. The office chair is mostly used in organizations by different people in the office desk and also by individuals in their personal cabins. Thus, it could be used by people with varying heights and postures. The primary customer group are the people in offices with cabin or people who use it for their personal use. The redesign of the product is intended to a target customer group in organizations like libraries, public offices, and so on, where people with different back length require a different customized backrest. Hence, the idea is to redesign in such a way that the chair's backrest height is adjustable. This is the exploded view of the original product design. There are three major sub-assemblies in this chair: carriage, tilt-based mechanism, and the seat frame. This slide shows the fast diagram of the office chair. The primary function is to sit a human, and to do this, it has three essential sub-functions: comfort human, enable his movement, and support his weight. The function component mapping matrix here explains which part is responsible for which of the functions in the original product. This matrix helps in understanding the function component relationship better and hence enables us to move ahead with our redesign for secondary customers and modularity. This slide shows the division of functions as per customer group based on the fast diagram, FC matrix, and BOM. Adjusting height function is different for both the customer groups. The original product has height adjustment only for the base seat, that is the overall height of the chair. However, the redesigned product shall have an additional height adjustment feature for the backrest. Further, the modular assembly is interpreted differently in both the products based on the design of its seat frame. To enable the functions to work differently as discussed, the parts have been differentiated into platform and modules. Thus, seat frame and seat cushion would be separate modules in the redesigned chair. This is done to enable the backrest seat and cushion to be separate from the base seat and cushion, and to achieve modularity and backrest height adjustment. Next up, we can see the differences between the primary and secondary customer designs. The primary design has single part seat frame. In the secondary customer design, the backrest and the base are separated using L brackets, thus achieving modularity. Also, the height of the backrest is adjustable in the secondary variant. We also achieved delayed product differentiation along with the secondary customer design. In the primary design, the seat frame, which consists of both base and backrest, was made as a single part. Thus, to have various backrest heights, we would need completely different seat frame to be manufactured. After splitting the base from the backrest, the base can be assembled early in the platform and different backrests can be assembled in the last step as module. This is the design we would move forward with as our primary product variant, including delayed product differentiation for performing design for assembly and design for manufacturing. Once the primary product variant is decided, the manual assembly sequence was studied. Those particular assembly sequences were considered for redesign, which were responsible for high assembly time. Individual assembly time for the manual assembly processes was calculated, and the total assembly time for manual assembly is 737 seconds. The table here shows those manual assembly process of the existing assembly sequence in the platform and the module, which are primarily responsible for the high assembly time and require a redesign. Hence, it was decided to perform DFA for parts involved in these sequences on both the platform and the module. From the platform, we redesigned halter bracket bushes and replaced them with shaft mounts. As shown on the bottom left, there are two parts in one bearing bush, which are fastened to tilt base plate while holding the halter bracket between them. These were consolidated into single shaft mount as shown towards bottom right. As displayed on the upper right corner, an alignment feature was added on the tilt plate for easy shaft mount assembly. In the module, we eliminated the two L brackets and 8 screws between the backrest and base. We replaced it with an integrated hinge holding mechanism along with L flange bends to avoid flexing. After performing design for assembly, this table shows the reduced assembly times of those respective steps, including some part elimination. As a result, this would reduce the overall manual assembly time. Thus, we notice that after design for assembly application on the platform and the module, the total assembly time reduces from 737 seconds to 625 seconds, and the total assembly efficiency increases from 14.24 to 17.73%. For design for assembly application to automated assembly, we chose a bevel gear subassembly involving 4 parts, shown in the table. The total assembly cost for these 4 parts is 30.41 cents. Let's look at the application of the DFA. The top row shows the 4 parts in the original design, and bottom 3 are after redesigning. First, in the bevel screw on the left, a flat feature was added to facilitate its orientation in the feeder. Second, for the bevel gear block, the holes on previous part required turning over of the assembly for fastening. They were shifted in the side, making it accessible from the Z-axis above. Third, this bevel bush, which is used only for joining the bevel gear with the bevel screw, was eliminated, and its function was designed into the gear. Additionally, a flat feature was added onto the gear shank to facilitate its orientation in the feeder. After applying DFA, we notice that one part is eliminated and others are improved, and hence we have cost reduction in the total assembly automated assembly cost. The cost reduces from 30.4 cents to 17.63 cents, and hence the objective of reducing the cost by applying DFA is realized. This table shows our approach for process selection. For redesigned shaft mount, the material is non-ferrous metal. Further, the filters of shape, mass, section thickness, tolerance, surface roughness, and economic batch size were applied. Based on the part's function, the values for these process filters were decided. And based on these values that are needed, we are finally left with die casting and machining processes. We chose die casting because it has comparatively lower material waste and it's more economical when considering the high production volume. For the redesigned seat bracket, the material is non-ferrous metal. Applying similar filters for processes and considering its required values, the final candidates are sheet metal working and machining. We chose sheet metal working because for the kind of feature required, that is integrated hinges and L brackets on the backrest, sheet metal working is much faster and has significantly lower material wastage. Design for manufacturing was performed on the parts chosen earlier in the design for assembly. From the platform, shaft mount was picked and following DFM guidelines were applied. The wall thickness of the mount was reduced from 20 mm to 15 mm as shown in the image on the right. This further helps in reducing the material savings and contributes to overall cost reduction. The second redesign was to add fillets and chamfers to the edges to remove sharp corners, which can also be noticed in the image on the right. In the module, the DFM was applied to the seat backrest. First, cutoffs are added to the L-flange bends to ease the bending of sheet and avoid sheet tearing. Second, to avoid bend tears on the seat, bending reliefs are provided. Third, number of bending steps were reduced from 8 to 6 by replacing tapered sides towards the bottom with single straight edge. Finally, the hinge positions are changed from symmetric to one-sided offset, which fit into complementary hinge notches formed on the adjacent parts. This is done to ensure that we are able to cut off the part rather than blanking. The table shows cost of manufacturing before and after DFM application. For shaft mount, there is saving in each part of the total cost. The total saving for the shaft mount is $0.158 per part. For sheet metal working part, that is the seat backrest, there is an increase in die cost. This is because the redesign requires a larger die. But this increase is compensated by reducing material wastage and operation time for shearing process. The total saving for the backrest is $1.395 per part. The product service system that we have designed would have environmental return scheme, which would allow customers to exchange the old chair for a new one at discounted price, or get the old chair retrofitted with custom features like changing backrest, cushions, or other components. Thus, this reduces the cost to customer by eliminating the need to buy a new one or making it cheap to buy a new one. Further, the returned chair could be used by the company to recycle its parts or reuse them for other purposes, like refurbishing parts in new chair, sell it as scrap, or use it as a material for new parts. In conclusion, we realized following benefits. The product family design leads to volume benefits, delayed product differentiation leads to just-in-time assembly, and DFMA helps in lowering manufacturing and assembly cost. As a self-critic, we would say that use of metals in many of our parts has high environmental impact. So as further improvement, we can use material selection tools to choose environmentally sustainable materials. Lastly, if we were to start over, we would design product family to include more parts in the module, giving us flexibility when applying DFMA. Thank you for listening.